Hi, my name is Jim Bolger. I have written 2 books on the subject of how we can grow a better understanding of ourselves and the environments we live in. The first book is called What You're Looking For is Looking for You. It is based on the stories we continually tell ourselves as we go through our lives and how we can glean important knowledge from them. Those stories expose our attitudes and beliefs towards many aspects of our lives and are a valuable insight into our view of the world and many of the people in it. My second book is called Who Knows You as You Want to Be Known. I wrote it with my friend and fellow executive coach, Barbara Edgar. It is about understanding the influences and traumas we experienced while growing up, and how they have affected our choice of career, living location, and even our choice of partner. The more we learn about ourselves, the better choices we will make, which will increase our feelings of being content and at peace within ourselves. Each area of our life, our thoughts and beliefs, our family and social influences, our education and our hopes and desires, are interwoven into a fascinating and complex tapestry that can be difficult to separate into understandable concepts. My books are a journey to uncover those hidden and often ignored parts of ourselves. Our understanding of those parts can bring us freedom and peace, and I will walk with you through that journey over this series of videos. I will read excerpts from each book and then briefly discuss the topic from that excerpt. Each person's experience through their life's journey is unique to them. How they view those experiences and react to them is also unique. Life asks many questions of us as we grow up. Often we don't understand how to answer them or even fully understand the questions. However, there is a way to figure these things out. I would suggest that you have a notepad and pen beside you as you listen. Don't just make notes on what I am saying, but also make notes on your thoughts, and especially the emotions those thoughts bring up inside you. If you are serious about finding out who you are, then those notes will be invaluable for you as you grow. Okay, let's start. The 2 central components throughout these books are awareness and asking correct questions. Together, they offer us a powerful opportunity to solve many of life's challenges. Persistence, courage, and a hunger to comprehend will aid you on your journey. Let's look at them. 1. Awareness. We are all living in an illusion to one degree or another. We fantasize about how our lives might work out, but we have little idea of how to build the character of the person who we have assigned the task of bringing those fantasies to reality. Our imagination of all that is going on around us and in us often bears little relationship to the reality of the world we live in. So, we must start with ourselves. We must acknowledge where we are right now, not to be judgmental of ourselves because we thought we would be in a different place at this stage of our lives, but to accurately assess our position and plan where we wish to go from there. We can only do that by waking up our awareness and becoming conscious of our thoughts and actions. 2. Asking correct questions. When we are asked a question in school, we assume that there is an answer to the question, and it has been asked in such a way as to allow us to find that answer. We also assume that the correct answer can be found either in a book or from the teacher. However, that's not how life works. The answer to many of life's questions require an answer that is as individual as the person being asked. Often, life asks questions of us that we have never been asked before, and we're not even sure if we understand the question or even where it came from. We realize we are limited by our lack of knowledge and understanding. Not only do we not know where to look for the answer, but many times we don't fully understand the question itself. So, since all good answers are to be found behind the correct understanding of the question, we need to spend more time figuring out the correct way to understand the questions, then the answers will come. We delve into the backpack of our life experience for help, but often our life's journey to that point, and the traumas and challenges we have experienced along the way, augur our view of the world and how we perceive it. That can be a hindrance to the effectiveness of our understanding. Self-examination and the fortitude and honesty it takes to climb above the perceptions and attitudes we live with and judge everything with can be a difficult road to walk. This is the process. We must start with questioning what we say we believe. That doesn't mean we need to change what we believe, however. We must be conscious of why we believe what we say we believe. Knowing that will allow us to have a clearer understanding of the questions that life will ask us. We must pursue knowledge of whatever the subject is. The more knowledge and understanding we have of the question, the better our answer will be, and the better place we will be in to understand that our answer is actually correct. Tom Bodett said, "The difference between school and life is this. In school we are taught a lesson, then given a test. In life we are given a test that teaches us a lesson. Although it might not feel like it, we generally don't get asked questions in life until we are ready to learn the answers. Circumstances are the situations that come into our lives to force us to acknowledge things that we already know, but don't want to face or admit to ourselves. We want to ignore them because they don't match our ideal view of how our lives are supposed to be. We build fantasies in our head about our ideal world and the people in it. We choose our friends because we imagine what part they will play in our lives. However, when we say we are friends with someone, what we're actually saying is that we like who we are, or allowed to be, when we are in their company. We have given them a part to play in our life, but we haven't told them what that part is. We just expect them to know. So, when they do something that we don't like or agree with, or when they don't do something that we expected them to do, we feel let down and disappointed. We are judging them on our idea of who they are. We want them to change so we can feel happy. How crazy is that? We ask ourselves, why would they do that when they know I don't want them to? Why are they being so mean to me? But have you ever told them what part you have given them and expect them to play? You think, they should know me better by now. What is wrong with them? They are not fitting in with my illusion of my life. I say to you, you're living in an illusion. There is a story of a man who found a small, unexploded bomb in his back garden while he was digging it. It looked like it had been there since the war. He carefully removed it, put it into a box, and decided to take it to the police station. He didn't have a car, so he took the bus. He had the box sitting on his lap as he told the story to the bus conductor. The conductor was concerned. He said to the man, "I don't think it is safe to carry that bomb on your lap. I think you should put it under your seat." That might sound like a funny story. You might even think that the man and the conductor were a little silly, but we all do similar things, all the time. The events, traumas, and beliefs from our past that shape and mold our lives can be like unexploded bombs that we carry on our lap or have put under our seat. That seat is better known as our shadow self. That's where we put our memories of the events, traumas, and beliefs that we don't want to face and deal with. We know they are there, and it's uncomfortable. They affect our peace. They weigh on every decision we make. They cloud our view of the world and our place in it. We don't want to face them and resolve them, so we hide them under our seat and hope they won't unexpectedly explode on us. They are the voices in our head that seep into our lives in the form of self-criticism, low self-esteem, being unsure of our own thoughts and actions, making us cautious and even fearful. They belittle us and point out our frailties. We are scared that we will do or say something that would uncover our shame and cause us to be embarrassed or even ridiculed in front of our family and friends. Those voices taunt us with thoughts like, "See, I told you you were useless. Now look at what you've done." They stifle our creativity with words like, "You know you're not good enough to do that, so don't even try it, or you will look foolish in front of everyone." We hear them loudest when we are on our own and our surroundings are quiet. But we don't want to hear them, so we play music or turn on the TV or get lost for hours in social media and other people's lives. That shame feeds directly into our judgments. We cannot have a judgment outside of ourselves, so the foundations of those judgments are already integrated inside us somewhere. We want to justify ourselves and our existence, so to get around these issues, we build masks to cover over the problem. That's the same as putting the bomb under your seat. You need to acknowledge there is a bomb. Take it out carefully, examine it for its structure, and defuse it. In our book, Who Knows You as You Want to Be Known, the first few chapters deal with the goal of being authentic with ourselves and what that actually means. We look at the masks we wear and why we wear them. We ask, do you actually know yourself? Are there two people living inside you? Who are you talking with when you talk to yourself? We look at the role that society plays in shaping our thoughts and actions. We ask, do we make society or does society make us? Then we delve into the fascinating subjects of is life chance or destiny? Do we have free will to make our own choices? We explore the voices in our head and work to identify who they are and the effect they have on how we live our lives. We examine what our shadow self is, what's in it and why is it there. We ask, what part does it play in dealing with the choices we are faced with and the decisions we make that affect our lives in a significant way? We also take a look at how we can resolve those issues in ourselves. As we move towards the end of the book, we deal with how our brain hides the truth from us. We assess self-realization as a tool for freedom. We ask, what is the meaning of life? We look at how we can have a better understanding of the choices we make, the influences that guide our decisions, and how we might make better choices in the future. We finish with a few chapters that cover unconditional positive regard, a great tool to reframe who and what we are in relation to the world we live in. We look at how we can grow our character and move towards the life we know we really want to live. And finally, how we can know ourselves and be known as we want to be known. We live our lives in an illusion that we build. Sometimes it bears little or no relationship to reality at all. We are actors, playing to an audience for their approval. When they don't approve, it causes chaos and confusion in us. We search for a better mask to wear. We change our persona, and we lose ourselves in that process. When we take off a mask, we feel faceless underneath. We don't know who we are, so we depend on our title to define us. Then we're afraid if we lose our title, we are just a nobody, so we work hard to be accepted for what we do rather than who we are. There is an Australian caregiver who wrote a book about her experiences in palliative care and how her patients reacted to coming face to face with their mortality. Her name is Bronnie Ware, and her book is called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. It's a tough but beautiful book to read. She gives many insightful thoughts along the way. She said, the top 5 regrets of the dying as she encountered them are: 1. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. 2. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. 3. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. 4. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. 5. I wish I had let myself be happier. She said that her own thoughts from those experiences were, the best way to make the most out of life is to appreciate the gift of it and choose not to be a victim. She said we are given lessons in life to heal, not necessarily to enjoy, that expressing our feelings is a necessity for a happy life, and that loneliness isn't a lack of people, it is a lack of understanding and acceptance. Here is a suggestion from me. Write a permission slip for yourself, just like you would for one of your children for school. For example, your permission slip might say, today I give myself permission to be brave, or to be calm, or to pay attention, or to be tidy. Write one for yourself for each day of the week. Our sense of belonging is directly related to our level of self-acceptance. True belonging starts in our own heart and not as a reward for pleasing others. What part of your personality do you think is keeping you safe? What was the personality of the person who you thought was keeping you safe when you were a child? What of those traits did you embed in your personality to bring that feeling of being safe forward with you? Our natural state is fear. We don't have to work to feel fear. We have to work to feel safe. When we go to any new place, it makes us feel anxious. Often when we meet new people, we are cautious. We feel safe with people and in places that we have learned to feel safe with. We might describe those people and places as where we feel belonging. If we're not comfortable inside ourselves, we cannot be comfortable anywhere. We become dependent on those people and places where we feel safe. We become emotionally dependent on them. We develop attachments. When we lose them, we feel lost, alone, and fearful. We are not afraid of the unknown as much as we are afraid of losing the known. Can you remember a time when you didn't feel safe or heard? What was happening then? Can you describe that feeling? Did it revolve around a person or a place or event? We all carry a part of our parents inside us. We have integrated a part of them into our personality. We might not even like that part in ourselves. We might fight with it, but we can't seem to get over it. Did you ever feel you were put into a small space by your parents when you were young, so you wouldn't get in the way? Were you sent to your room when they needed to have a serious talk with each other? Did you hear loud voices from them? Did that scare you a little? Did you build a shell around yourself to make you invisible? Is that where you go now when you feel unappreciated or fearful or in the way? Do you hide yourself away from others? Do you feel overrun by a stronger personality? Do you run from conflict? Do you revert to your childhood and hide in your invisible shell? Is that why you feel someone should pursue you if they really love you? Do you test them to see if they will look for you? Is that why you're reluctant to tell them that you love them because you feel that puts you into a weaker position, a display of want or desire, which gives your power to them and makes you weaker if that love is not returned? You are in a relationship with yourself. You live, eat, and sleep with yourself. Do you like your company? We are always in love with the idea of being in love. It's all a fantasy in our own mind. Nobody can ever achieve that for us. You have a favorite photo of yourself and someone because that's the look of that person that you like most. It is the perfect angle of lighting or mood, and it brings out the best side of that person. You cling onto that image fantasy. Actually, maybe you love that photo because you think you look great in it yourself and not the other person at all. Do you ever use filters on your photos to improve how you look? They are all judgments you are making on yourself and others based on the generally accepted view of beauty. Stop looking at the outside of yourself and others. Dive into your judgments. Examine them. What is at the root of them? Do you feel you need to look or act in a certain way to be acceptable, to fit in, to belong? We need awareness. That journey is to bring the issues that live in our unconscious into our conscious mind so we can work to understand and resolve them. We judge other people's intelligence on how they look, how they walk, how they talk, the color of their skin, their emotional state, their social standing, and their financial status. Albert Einstein said, "Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid." Our gifts are unique to us. Our opinion of the value of those gifts to us is often augured by our life experiences and the traumas we suffered growing up. What is the difference between belonging and attachments? Your attachments are grounded in your ideals. What is your regret dragon keeping from you? What's in his cave that you feel you don't have access to? What does he need in order for him to be happy to leave and open the contents of that cave to you? He wants us to look at what those regrets are and resolve them. We must name them in relation to how they affect us, learn what they are teaching us, and apply those lessons into our lives. When we name them, we can plan an action to resolve them by addressing the issues, asking forgiveness from those we may have hurt, and becoming consciously aware of them in the daily decisions we make. If we don't have a way to redress it, accept it for the lesson it has taught us. We must take them out of our shadow self where they are hurting us and where we create coping mechanisms to deal with them. Practice self-observation. Watch yourself. What you experience is not you. You say, "I am happy" or "I am depressed," etc. But while you might be feeling those emotions, they are not you. Watch and observe, but don't take ownership of those feelings. They will pass, and you will still be here. What you judge you don't understand. You've put a label on it. Don't try to change anything other than yourself. Be careful that you don't simply change one mask for a different one. Become aware. Attachments are judgments, labels we have applied to something or someone. Are you trying to live up to others' expectations of you? Be yourself. Know yourself. Become aware of your attachments and judgments. Are you expecting others to live up to your expectations of them? What am I? What is I? If you don't know who you are right now, then anything you say you understand is only understood by someone you don't know or the mechanisms that someone uses to understand. Who is living in you? Your parents? Your society? Your traumas and the examples you picked up from your childhood? Is that where your understanding comes from? Your programming? Get over your illusions. Be aware. Wake up. You're living in an illusion, a world you have built inside you based on your experiences and traumas growing up, and the family and social rules you have lived with. But you don't know enough to understand it. Describe yourself. What words would you use? Who are you? What are you? Who built those aspects of you? What parts of you have you consciously built? What knowledge and understanding did you use to build them? What are the labels you have given yourself? What labels have others given you? When someone goes against a belief you have, you feel like it is an attack on you personally. After all, it is your belief. But where did it come from? Are you sure you actually believe it? Do you know why you believe what you say you believe? How much thought and examination have you put into forming your beliefs? Do you have enough knowledge and understanding to know what you believe and why you believe it? Beliefs can and often do change. They often change to accommodate a new desire. So are your beliefs based solely on your desires? Do your desires and your judgment on how well you are progressing towards them decide your happiness? Are you depending on their fulfillment for your happiness? How much control do you have to bring them into your life? Do you need the cooperation of others for their fulfillment? Drop your illusions. What power do you have to change others? Examine yourself. Become aware of who you are. Get real with yourself. Look beyond your me, your face to the world. The answers cannot be found there. That part of you holds your anxiety, your shame, your need to be accepted, and your feelings of being accepted. They are based in fear. Look for fear behind anything that upsets you. Don't confuse love with desire, control, and manipulation. That's fear and anxiety, not love. What does your happiness depend on? Lack of happiness is a focus on the things you don't have. You cannot accept or understand that things happen because they are meant to happen if you are attached to those things emotionally. They are parts of your me. We want others to change so we can be happy. We generally base our identity on a desire of who we think we would like to be, or who we think other people would like us to be. We want to be acceptable to others. We also want to be who we think we are on the inside. However, those two propositions don't often work well together, so we find ourselves with having to navigate that path carefully. The outside pressure to conform is often stronger than the inside pressure to satisfy our wants and desires, so we tolerate the subordination of our I for living in peace with our environments. There is a price to pay for that. When we stand in front of a mirror, we generally focus on the parts of us that we don't like. We have wounds inside us, trauma. We don't want to think about that, so we distract ourselves with fantasy books or social media posts showing off the few moments of joy we are experiencing. We are fragmented. Our lives continually pass through situations that are fighting with our inner being, our desire to be whole, to understand ourselves and our place in humanity. We need to get to know ourselves. Face our fears, our disowned parts of ourselves. We need to get real with the bad experiences and traumas in our past lives that have left an indelible mark on our souls. The pain of those memories are real. The hurt we felt is real. The rejection we felt is real. Instead of pushing those memories down inside us, we need to bring them up to our conscious selves with compassion and understanding, giving them their voice. Listen to them. When they come into our conscious mind, we can work to understand why they are there, resolve them inside us, and set them free. Often, we are only willing to approach these subconscious dragons when we feel we have nothing left to lose, when our frequencies and vibrations are already so low that we have nowhere else to go, no more masks left to wear. We are not weak in that place. We are strong now. A strength made specifically in us for this arena. Somewhere deep inside us, we know that. We realize we are fighting shadows, our own interpretation of our past, our own beliefs of what is beautiful, clever, acceptable, worthy of life and love. We can and will change our perspective on these and many more issues. Yes, they may well cause us to be unacceptable in some areas, but we're ready for a new beginning, and we don't want those people or places in our lives going forward. We want to break free from the chains that have been holding us back for so long and we are now ready, at last, to do just that. I'll finish with a story I got from Tony DeMello. It's about a tramp living on the streets of London. Late one evening, he was looking for a place to sleep for the night. He was walking along the banks of the Thames River when he came across a niche in the river boundary wall. He curled up with his coat over him and settled down to sleep. After a few minutes, a car stopped beside him. A beautiful and well-dressed woman stepped out of the car and came over to him. "My good man, are you planning on spending this cold night here beside the river?" she asked him. "Yes, ma'am. I have nowhere else to go," he said. "I won't hear of it," she said. "Come with me at once." He got into her car, and the driver took them to the outskirts of London, where he stopped at a large, beautiful home. The woman said to the driver, "James, take this poor man to the servants' quarters, give him a hot meal, and settle him into one of the bedrooms. Make sure he has enough blankets to keep him warm." "Yes, ma'am," James replied. The woman went to her room, undressed, took a shower, and prepared for bed. She then remembered the tramp she had brought to her home and decided to check that he was okay. She put on her dressing gown and walked softly to where his room was. The light in the room was still on, so she knocked on the door and went in. The tramp was huddled up under the blanket in bed. The woman said, "Are you all right, sir?" "I'm wonderful, ma'am," he replied. "Did you have something to eat?" she asked him. "I had the nicest meal I ever had, Mom. Thank you very much." "Are you sure you're warm enough?" she asked him. "I'm just perfect, ma'am," he replied. "You look like you could do with a cuddle," she said to him. "Move over a little and I'll get in beside you." The tramp moved over a little and fell into the Thames River. We're all living in an illusion to one degree or another. We need to wake up. In my next video, I will read the start of my book, What You're Looking For is Looking for You. We'll take a look at some of the stories we continually tell ourselves and the impact they have on our lives. This is the start of our exciting journey to discover ourselves. Join me there. Click the subscribe button to get a notification when I upload more videos.